You were doing a really nice corporate job and you wanted to leave that. What was the reason?
I wasn't getting passionate about my work anymore. Helping companies is good for the world, but it didn't feel satisfaction. I wanted more meaning in my life.
What was the moment you decided, Kachayar, now I want to move back to Pakistan?
I've always felt that life was a bit unfair. You can see real poverty. I wanted to do something along those lines. Sometimes I get emotional on it because I see the struggle of people, because I was a big believer on the internet. And I think that it has the ability to change people's lives much quicker.
When you were working with the Dubai government, what did you learn there?
One thing was how strong their women were, right? Self-confident, doing a lot of the top jobs. So women was one. Then a can-do entrepreneurial attitude, right? आप risk ले लेते हैं कि आपको कुछ रोड बिल्ड करनी है तो आप कह देते हैं चलो चलते हैं, and then you figure out कि आपने गलत रोड बिल्ड किया, you undo it and you start something else. Third is welcoming culture. They're getting people from all over the world, not just Muslims. कभी मैं सुनता हूँ ना, I want to be the best in the Muslim world, or I want to be the best in Pakistan. No, they want to be the best in the world.
How do you want to position Pakistan globally?
I would give someone a job title of Chief Simplification Officer. How simple is something to do? Because abhi jo hai na,
Amir, thank you so much for taking the time out. There's a lot of work which you have done over the years. आप बाहर थे, you moved back to Pakistan. वहाँ भी आके बड़ा unconventional approach going into the government. और गवर्नमेंट में भी बड़ी अनकन्वेंशनल बड़ी अनकन्वेंशनल जगह पे आप गए स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम को सपोर्ट करना, टेक एंड आईटी एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट. सो बिफोर वी गो इनटू व्हाट यू आर डूइंग राइट नाउ एंड एंटरप्रेन्योरियल लैंडस्केप पाकिस्तान में क्या है, लाइक टेक मी बैक टू योर चाइल्डहुड लिटिल बिट. कहाँ पैदा हुए, व्हाट हैव यू स्टडीड एंड हाउ डिड यू सॉर्ट ऑफ एंडेड अप in this part of the world as well as in this work?
So मैं पैदा इंग्लैंड में हुआ था. My dad was doing a PhD. तो पैदा ही उधर हुआ था, but at the age of 6 months or a year moved back to Pakistan. Pakistan पहले 6 साल गुजारे in Karachi and Islamabad mostly. My father was working for the government here. So
he went from government to do the PhD.
Yes, or he took a break, or I believe, or it could have been before he joined the service. Sure. So that I tell you that he worked for the government because that passion for service comes from all the discussions जो इस्लामाबाद में होती हैं late nights के कुछ ये कर लो वो हो जाएगा, and the right politician is not there, or so that came in. And then at the age of 6, I moved briefly to the US and spent a year there. And then at the age of, I think, 7 or 8, I moved to Belgium, Brussels. And then
this was with your father because he was
my
moving?
Family, yeah. And my father took an international post in Brussels, not Pakistani government, but the World Customs Organization, the predecessor to the World Trade Organization. So wo phir mujhe, the next 10 years were quite influential for me because wo main ek international school mein gaya where there were 60 nationalities and 40% Americans. But I got an insight into American culture, right? So wo usme, prom, homecoming, American football, baseball, all that American life, but in Brussels. Wo mujhe mila. And I say this now because it helps me in later life understand the biggest market in the world, which is US, right? So it gave me a significant head start in business and understanding. And udhar Pakistani bahut kam the. So I basically lived like a gora. And understanding an international environment representing Pakistan. So ye hota tha, so I really enjoyed those years, and they were fun years, and I became like school president, organizing the school ski trip, all these things because I was stable in a stable life and also entrepreneurial. So I learned about marketing from doing these things, although I didn't know that I was learning marketing or what marketing worked. But, you know, organizing a ski trip for the school, and because people had disposable income, they would, it would cost us, let's say $300. We would charge $400 and make good money as well. So, and it taught me about wealth creation. Mujhe yaad hai when I was like 12 years old, mera ek dost, he was a wealthy guy, his parents were wealthy. Wo kehta hai ki yaar, it's not going to be the A's that are going to stay with you in your life, but the friends and the relationships jo aapko life mein madad karenge. So I wasn't an A-star student, but I would be a B+ student or so. So, but I was very sociable, and I loved my school. Then I went to university in Manchester in the UK. I wanted to go to America, but because I was British born, in those days it was free to go. So I went. You know, that's one of the blessings of now the UK charges, but if you go to Germany, yeah, it's free. Yeah. It's free. So it was free to go. And Manchester, I did computer science with business and management. And first year, I was slacking off, partying a little too much. I ranked like 30th out of 30 students.
और कंप्यूटर साइंस का शौक आपको क्यों, कहाँ से आ रहा था?
वो मेरे स्कूल से आया था. I wanted to do business, मगर मेरे किसी दोस्त के parent ने कहा, and this is why mentors, like offhand, they give a comment and then you shapes your destiny. But एक तो उन्होंने कहा कि आप engineering या कोई ऐसी degree करो, क्योंकि business you can always learn. And then I also already at that stage, which was mid-90s, could see कि हर चीज में computers लगेंगे. Like this is even a bit pre-internet, or I didn't know much about internet. मगर अगर आप shoe store भी खोलना चाह रहे हैं तो आपका computers help करते हैं. आप charity भी खोलना चाह रहे हैं तो आपका computers, they help you in some way. So every industry helps, and I wanted to learn about business in every industry. So, and I had a natural knack for computers. Every other thing was a B, and computer science I got A-star, even if I didn't study for the exam. So some people, sometimes unke natural gift hote hain. The mine was computing and seeing the power of computing, and I enjoyed it.
So you finished your bachelor's wahan se, and
then I joined. Then I completed it at the top because I worked in a restaurant/bar for a Christmas season, and I just saw the same people coming in, same thing, and I was like, I need to work hard to get out of this place, otherwise I'll be stuck in this life. And so I worked really hard, and then at that point there was a company called Arthur Andersen or Andersen Consulting. They changed to Accenture. They were coming on campus to recruit. They offered £1,000 more than any other recruiter. So it was the best paid job. And they said, if you work here 10 to 15 years, you can become a millionaire by joining a partnership model. So I was intrigued, money driven at that point. And I joined that company. I got an offer and moved to London and I worked there for a year and a half. And then I went through a bit of a depression because I was like, school was so structured, 4 years in high school, 3 years in university, and then you have 40 years gap, right? And then till you retire. और मैं कह रहा था यार मैं corporate life में, how am I going to be stuck so long in it? Although I was making more money than I could spend, I was living business class flights. I could go anywhere in Europe but it wasn't meaningful. So I started thinking about business ideas and
business ideas to leave the job and start doing something of your own.
Yes.
Okay.
So wo maine socha, this is around 99, and I was thinking gym, I was thinking restaurant, it's not like physical ideas, मगर उन सारों के लिए you needed a lot of capital, and I didn't even have the passion for that, right? तो फिर एक idea आया, like one day I stumbled across, I was searching online because how to make money online, क्योंकि वो internet.com bubble था in those days, in 99 I'm talking about. उधर मैंने देखा Amazon affiliates, or as Amazon they call them associates. And the idea is कि अगर आप $10 की किताब बेचते हो तो आप एक अपनी वेबसाइट बनाओ और आपके थ्रू अगर वो आएंगे तो Amazon आपको $1 देगा. So when I discovered this idea, I was blown away by it, because I was like, that means if I can market something better than Amazon, I can make like really good money.
But why, like before, like thoda sa agar piche jaye, so you were doing a really nice corporate job and you wanted to leave that. What was the reason? Like, one is like you want to do something of your own, or do you didn't like that world?
Yeah, it was, you know, you're going to multi-billion-dollar companies and you're trying to save them 0.1% of their profit and loss or so. And I was in the telecom sector, or I was doing consulting. I specialized in telecom. और फिर मेरा ये था कि यार ये telecoms long term, they're just cell towers and they're just like any utility, like bijli या कुछ. तो मैं either there's no like creativity as such, right? And you had to show FaceTime, and if you leave before 7 p.m., everyone's looking at you like ye kya kar raha hai? And so it was like a long travel. In those days, this is before the iPod. So you were like, I was traveling. I lived a year in Dublin, for instance. And, you know, when my base home was London, so you traveled, which in the beginning sounds great, but afterwards it's really exhausting. And then also, I wasn't getting passionate about my work anymore, working with huge companies, and trying to make a difference to them. So ye tha mera, at that stage, I already was thinking I want to do something for Pakistan. Or magar main, that seed was planted there, kyunki main apne, like let's say extended family mein logon ko paise bechta tha, but I was like, I'm never going to make enough money to help so many people. So is tarah mera wo like need to do something good for the world came. Although, you know, helping companies is good for the world, but it didn't feel satisfaction. I wanted more meaning in my life at the age of 21, 22. So that is the reason that I was looking to leave. And so that I got into, I did my first startup at 21 or so. In 99, I was supposed to go to California from London for a 2-week holiday. I ended up staying a year and saying to my bosses, I'm not coming back. I came up with all these ideas that I was going to do. Like, this is before eBay and PayPal and all these others, like YouTube. I started a reality TV show.
Okay.
But for instance, it was expensive to do that, right? Kyunki un zamane mein, there was no YouTube. So you had to upload your video and then to a server, and it was costing 5 cents a megabyte. So it was really expensive to do all these things. But I learned, and then I ran out of money. I had to come back to my day job, and they fortunately took me back. I was
the same company.
Yeah, I was a star performer at that company. I was good at my job. So they said, no problem. There's a lot of people that kind of have an entrepreneurial streak. They encouraged it. And they took me back. It took me another 3 years to pay off those loans. And then I started my second company, 2003. It was around text messaging. Usme maine dekha ke there was an opportunity that text was going to be big, and it was the poor man's email, right? So wo, I had this vision that you could shop on using SMS. So maine I learned about APIs, और मैंने Amazon के साथ link up किया. So you could send the word book space Harry Potter, and it would come back with the book details and the price. And it would also send you an email because your mobile would be linked to your email address. And when you would go back to your desk or laptop, because this is before the smartphone, आप अगर click through करेंगे, I would make money from that. So the idea was that if you compare books, maybe you're making, just $1 out of the $10. Magar, if you're comparing a camera like that one, which is $1,000, you might be making $50 for a click through. Okay. So ye mera startup, like that's where I really learned about startups. I didn't know what a startup was. I didn't know what the word entrepreneur meant. I didn't have people around me that were coaching me around this. So, magar, I was passionate about bringing this product. I coded it for like 12 months. मैंने एक PHP and MySQL book खरीदी थी. It was 1,008 pages. I read it cover to cover. I just was in an apartment and learned coding. And it taught me. So
you learned coding at that time. You didn't know that, like.
यूनिवर्सिटी में सीखी थी, मगर जब आपको जो एक्चुअल करनी होती है ना, यूनिवर्सिटी में, because there's no mission apart from getting an A or something, you're catering to the test. मगर जब मैंने actual real life में सीखनी थी, तो मैंने I learned it properly, right? तो वो फिर मैंने Amazon के साथ काम किया, उसकी वजह से मुझे और भी लोगों ने invite किया to work with them. I learned about sales. I say this क्योंकि अब one of the key things I think we need in Pakistan is how to teach people about sales and marketing. क्योंकि that, I remember जो मेरे initial sales, I was so scared of selling. तो मुझे I had to read so many books, और फिर मैंने पता किया, I realized कि मैं अपने ये इतनी किताबें पढ़ रहा था just to delay calling people and doing it. तो वो मैंने I made an Excel list of all the people I knew, right? And then I started calling them one by one कि यार मेरी ये business है, can you introduce me to anyone that might be interested? और इस तरह मैंने start किया. Or I met a friend of a friend at a party. He worked for Samsung, and I pitched him the idea. He loved it. You could text your email address to an ad in the subway, and you would get a brochure, e-brochure. So when the Samsung launches any new product, any TV or anything like that, you could get a brochure about it. The ye cheese thi, it was ahead of its time. It won the European Prize for Innovation, especially the product I'd built for Amazon. And I also learned about outsourcing from this at this stage. क्योंकि पहले मैंने एक local बंदा hire किया. He was costing me £2,000. Plus, I had to give him 15% equity. And I learned कि यार इस तरह तो मैं नहीं continue कर सकता. It was costing me too much money. And through a friend of a friend, I met a Pakistani Islamabad-based company. Or they charged me, they were just starting out. It's DPL now. वो Sayyid Ahmed. So I outsourced to them. They because I was making, my day was, and this is why I want to teach people about entrepreneurship, कि it's not simple, right? You have to work hard. मैं उस ज़माने में मैं काम करता था 9 till 6 I would be making calls, and then 6 till 3 in the morning I would be coding, and then weekends I would be doing admin stuff, right? ये VAT or इस तरह की चीजें. So that was my life for a lot of my 20s. But I was loving what I was doing, right? So you have to sacrifice some things. and you can do a lot of work, or it doesn't necessarily pay off in money, especially in software. क्योंकि आप अगर रेस्टोरेंट खोलते हैं तो आप डेली देख सकते हैं
साथ
सेल्स,
साथ सेल्स हो रही हैं आपकी।
मगर आप अगर ये कोई सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी खोलते हैं तो आपके बहुत पहले शुरू में you're changing so many directions, you're going and you're putting in a lot of work and you don't know if you will make a return on it. तो ये इस तरह फिर मैंने सीखा about entrepreneurship. And after about 4.5 years, someone gave me an offer to buy the company. It was a cash and equity deal. And they wanted all my clients and access to them because I had Xbox and Google and Apple and all these big companies had used it. और मैंने अब now when I reflect, one of the key reasons ये मेरे पास इतने अच्छे logos आए, branded companies, because I was in London. And business happens when people meet face to face. It's still difficult to do business जब आप कोई गांव से बैठ के you're trying to get a big corporate client. तो अभी भी, you know, a lot of our exports happen to Silicon Valley. क्यों? क्योंकि वो Apple के headquarters हैं, Google, etc. Even Facebook moved from Boston to Silicon Valley. क्योंकि उधर फिर ecosystem बना होता है, right? So
and how big was your team at that time?
I had grown it to initially 6, and then 15 people was like the max that it grew to. But around 6 were in the UK. Or that is the other thing that I got from entrepreneurship जो मैंने सीखी है कि मैं सोच रहा था कि यार ये मैं जॉब छोड़ूंगा, मेरी freedom आएगी, I'll be able to live my own life and the freedom it will create. मगर जैसे ही मेरे पास ये 6 स्टाफ आए, मुझे फिर टेंशन होती थी कि उनकी तनख्वाहें पे करनी होती हैं at the end of the month. So you had to make enough money to pay the staff. And so you become an instant father, right? To 6 kids that you're trying to feed at the end of the month. So you have to work hard, right? ये आप लोगों के इतना अच्छा setup है, but as your founder and CEO, you have to worry about their pays. It's not like, you know, people think to be a boss, it's such a good thing, but you have payroll to meet और इस तरह की responsibilities भी बहुत आ जाती हैं.
So थोड़ा सा हम अगर आगे चलें, so what was the moment you decided कि अच्छा यार now I want to move back to Pakistan? Like you have a fancy job where you left, then you had a startup, you're working with big clients, and then what really happened? Like suddenly you're like अच्छा अब मुझे थोड़ा सा downgrade जो है वो जिंदगी को करना है in a way. Maybe people might not like, but if you're living in London, आप रहे, मैं तो चले as a student वहाँ गया 6-7 साल रहा, तो वो एक बहुत बड़ा shift है to come back to Pakistan.
देखिए, first of all, I think it's a myth कि you have to downgrade your life when you move to Pakistan. For many of us, it's a much better life than it was in London. आप अपना देखें, आपके पास कोई नौकर है घर में?
Yeah.
Right? अब आपके पास था कोई, आपके पास फैमिली है इधर इस्लामाबाद में? Right? So you have to appreciate what you didn't have in London. Right? London में छोटे से apartments होते हैं. You're going on the tube. इधर आपके पास गाड़ी है?
Yeah.
Right? तो मेरी जो जिंदगी है इधर, it's much better than it was in London. So first of all, जो देख रहे होते हैं आपके viewers, they have this fancy perception that they move abroad, they'll have an amazing life. कोई segments के लिए है, right? If you are struggling as a taxi driver या कुछ इस तरह, and then you're a security guard, and if you're a security guard in the UK, you'll make £2,000 a month. And the security guard, they'll make 37,000 rupees, which is, I don't know, 100 pounds.
Yeah.
तो वो है कि उनके लिए, but उनके लिए भी मुश्किल जिंदगी होती है, right? They're doing it without family, all these things. तो मेरा था कि मैंने, after I sold the company, मैंने एक MBA किया. It was Europe's top business school at the time. It's called IMD Business School in Switzerland. और उसमें वो आपको को analysts से coaching भी देते हैं. And
Okay.
before you one-to-one, before you get into the program, उनको आप लिखते हैं, you write like 20-page essay on your life so far. And what was your highs, lows? What are you interested in? What did your parents do? What were your parents' dreams? Your parents' wishes? Is tarah ki cheezein to really self-reflect, because the business school focuses on leadership. So mera tha ke the word Pakistan came into it so many times. Aur mera tha ke I wanted to come back to Pakistan somehow. Right at that stage, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to do something in education for Pakistan and come back, because I've always felt that life was a bit unfair because I happened to be born in a certain household. Mere liye life was easy, right? Mere liye nashta banta tha from my mother. When I go off to school, my father took care of a lot of the expenses. When I went off to university, I went to good schools. Ye wo, because life was easier for me. And you've seen it yourself. I mean, we live in Islamabad, which is one of the richer parts of Pakistan, but you can see real poverty. Abhi main Karachi se aaya tha, you know,
Yeah.
like, so I wanted to do something along those lines. Sometimes I get emotional on it because I see the struggle of people in this in the country, and because I was a big believer on the internet, and I think that it has the ability to change people's lives much quicker. And I thought if I could spread the word of the internet, that it would improve many people's lives. And that now, like, that journey has taken me a long time, and I'm still struggling with it, but getting there. So मैंने पहले एक 2000 फिर after my MBA in Switzerland, I got an opportunity to work for Dubai government.
And which year is this?
2008 I started my MBA was 2007, and then at the end of 2007 I got an organization called Knowledge and Human Development Authority in Dubai. It was government of Dubai. I liked it because they didn't call themselves Ministry of Education, Knowledge and Human Development Authority. Dubai always does something better with marketing. Or in those years, in that year 2007, at the end, there was no Muslim brand that you wanted to go work in, right? Riyadh wasn't happening. Tehran, no one wanted to move to Damascus, all these places. But Dubai had cracked branding somehow, right? People wanted to visit Dubai and see it. So मैंने कहा कि मैं दुबई में जाता हूँ. I will learn from them for 1, 2, 3 years and then move to Pakistan, because also from the age of 7 till that age, when I was like around 30, I'd never really lived in Pakistan. So मैंने कहा ये थोड़ा सा I'll be Muslimized a bit and understand the Eastern culture, and also learn from a successful brand like Dubai. And then I moved, then I took a stint at Abu Dhabi as well. And then I started up another business. It was called Webpreneur Academy. I first called it Webpreneur University to like have this ambition of a university, but then I realized there's a lot of things you need to do for a university. So Webpreneur Academy, Webpreneur meaning how to teach people about internet entrepreneurship. The reason for that was because I was doing a lot of social media at that time. Or mere followers bhi grow rahe the. This is around 2007, 8, 9. And people started asking me, कि यार किस तरह करते हैं ये Google ads and all these other things. So I realized that I could teach people, and I saw it as a business model as well, to teach people about the internet and the opportunities. And I wrote my first book in 2009. It was called Internetism: How to Create Wealth in the Internet Economy. And originally I had a publisher, but it was very difficult to sell the book and make money. Especially जब मैं पाकिस्तान आता था, I would come on weekends और मुझे लोग invite करते थे for lectures. फिर वो कहते थे, oh, great book, do you mind if I photocopy it, right? And the intellectual property in Pakistan is not quite there. Like in America, you can sell a book and make money on it. In Pakistan, we'll expect karte hain ki photocopy. And the hard part in the book is not the physical thing. It's the actual time that you spend in writing a book. So anyway, I made it open source book, and I was happy to get it spread in many universities and colleges. And I started teaching internet entrepreneurship. I moved back to Pakistan. This is around 2012. And I worked here for about a year, ran out of money.
And where were you working?
I worked with Adam Smith International for a bit for coaching the Secretary of Education and KPK.
Okay.
And I was also doing my own thing. But in 2012-13, when I was selling online courses and trying to market to Pakistan, there wasn't like, I remember one of my first students, unne mujhe bulaya, he's like, oh, I want to buy your course. I believe I was selling, I tried different pricing, but he'd agreed on 5,000 rupees. So wo kehte hain ki, oh, great. Why don't you come to my house to collect the cash? So mujhe, matlab hai, I had to go to his house, have a cup of chai, then get paid 5,000 rupees. And I was like, this online stuff is not really going to pay off for me. Although जब मैं दुबई में था, मैंने किसी को $30,000 charge them to teach them some of these same lessons. तो मैंने ये भी सीखा है कि you can have the same knowledge, but if you're targeting someone without a lot of money, it's not worth as much as someone with a lot of money. So target rich people, you'll make richer, you'll make more money, create more wealth. तो यहाँ पर भी मैं अभी लोगों को बोलता हूँ, क्योंकि मैं अब पाकिस्तान आया, तो मैंने ज्वाइन किया PSAB, पाकिस्तान सॉफ्टवेयर।
मैं थोड़ा सा अगर उससे पहले चाहूँ, बिफोर PSAB से, जो when you were working with the Dubai government, or was sort of Ministry of Education, which they sort of rebranded, या जो भी आप उसे कह लें, what did you learn there, like in terms of आपने marketing और positioning की बात की, in terms of the strategic vision, long-term vision की बात की, and how people were operating, because that's also a government compared to our government. So what was your sort of learnings from working in Dubai?
I mean, one thing was how strong their women were, right? So
वो भी at that time.
At that time, women were self-confident, doing a lot of the top jobs. I worked with the CEO of that organization, Dubai School Bureau, DSB. She was a lady. And, you know, like women were smart, educated, hardworking, and it was, okay, they wore the abaya, all these things. But that's not like my Western brain was, ke yaar, they won't be educated and all these things, right? And the lazy Arab, that's propaganda. They're hardworking people, passionate about their work, passionate about bringing a change. Ye ek cheez thi. So women was one. Then a can-do entrepreneurial attitude, right? Aap risk le lete hain. कि आपको कुछ रोड बिल्ड करनी है तो आप कह देते हैं चलो चलते हैं, एंड देन यू फिगर आउट कि आपने गलत रोड बिल्ड किया, यू अनडू इट एंड यू स्टार्ट समथिंग एल्स. थर्ड इज वेलकमिंग कल्चर, क्योंकि वो they're getting people from all over the world, not just Muslims, and they don't think kabhi main sunta hu na, I want to be the best in the Muslim world, or I want to be the best in Pakistan. No, they want to be the best in the world, right? So wo unke ideas jo aate hain, because they're well traveled, they're getting ideas from Sweden, they're getting ideas from Australia, they're getting ideas from Brazil. Jidhar bhi unko achhe ideas and staff, and like the way they treat you, right? They came on our campus to recruit. We were one of the top business schools in Europe. So business class flights, and they flew me out on Emirates, it's their national airline, for a position in the education system. And they take me on the safari or hospitality, which I think we have really good as well in Pakistan, but they really show you a VIP experience to try to recruit you. Or phir jab aap aate hain, you're given leeway on this. So I think it's very entrepreneurial. All the people that are working there in government, they're trying other side gigs as well. They're entrepreneurial, but they think big as well.
लेकिन ये जो entrepreneurial sort of mindset है, like individual में तो चलें समझ आती है because it's like, you know, within you it's coming, but like on a government level and like with experimentation and everything, where is that coming from? Because same with the Saudi right now, like 2030 vision and 2050 and whatnot, like, you know, so where is this thing coming from? Because they're not individuals. And now you have worked in Pakistan as well. So what's the core difference which you have seen?
Pakistan, I think, sometimes gets a bad rep. We like to bash the government. But if you actually look at, I've been here working in the government for the last 18 months. I see a lot of workaholics in government. They're not going to make more money. Magar wo weekend pe kaam kar rahe hain. Meri apni team mein dekhta hu, like in my peers groups or the ministry, they're working late nights. Koi dinners hote hain, they go to those. And it's a myth that it's a lazy bureaucrat, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So ye hai ke it's there, but we don't maybe have the marketing skills of the West, of somewhere like Dubai. So wo hame thoda sa, like now for me to come on this podcast, one of the reasons was to spread some of our messaging. So ye had to make bureaucrats more approachable, right? So ye hai ke, because I saw that jo media hai na, like we can post out our own social media posts, magar wo to bahut, it's scripted, right? And people don't they don't engage with it as much as ke personality aati hai, and personality speaks on a podcast. It doesn't cost money, it costs us time. Magar hamare wo messaging, it goes to the world, right? So ye hai ke I would like to do more podcasts with international people as well, jo Pakistan ka naam globally leke jayenge, kyunki we have this great opportunity on the internet, and digital jo hai na, we can really win with digital. So the other thing, going back to Dubai, is Dubai mein dunya aati hai jati hai, right? Dubai mein unke passport ki wajah se they're able to travel, unki disposable income ki wajah se they're able to travel. Pakistani are not as well traveled. That's one of the challenges we have in general, right? Magar, I'm not saying they're not as smart. They're definitely as well read. Main kabhi cousin ya kisi se baat karta hu, might not even be traveled, but I'm surprised at the global thinking that they have. So ye hai ke if we can find ways for people, just aap travel kiye the, like you lived in the UK for a few years, you learn a different culture and a different see the world from a different point of view. So I think that is important for young people jo Dubai mein unke paas hota hai, and the world comes to them. So ye bhi hai ke how can we get the world to come to Pakistan? Kyunki jab wo aate hain na, gore log ya foreigners aate hain, so they love the country and they will invest in it, right? उनका वो 3 दिन के लिए हॉलिडे पे जाते थे. पहले दुबई में क्या होता था, वो आपको फ्री होटल देते थे on a connecting flight. तो वो जब वो लोग connect होते थे, वो they would end up buying an apartment, they would end up buying a Louis Vuitton handbag, they would buy something, right? इधर भी आप अगर पाकिस्तानी बंदे को देखोगे locally, they're not going to tip you as well as a Gora who's coming on vacation will tip you, right? So those opportunities, I think we don't have as much. But now abhi government ne 126 countries ko visa free kar liya hai, so we can really promote tourism to the country.
And thoda sa agar hum aage jaएं, like पेसअप तक आप कैसे पहुंचे? What was like the moment? Because it makes sense to work in the corporate sector or in the private sector, but like सरकार में land करना, someone who did his own business, work with the biggest companies in the world. So what was that sort of decision?
Well, when I did startups, मैंने देखा था कि it's difficult to do them, but I enjoyed it. And मगर मेरा था कि I wanted to move back. मुझे कोरोना की वजह जब कोरोना हुआ था, I was one of the first people to get corona. And
you were in
COVID.
Pakistan, yeah?
मैं England, London में था. So it was right. I was working for the British government. I was working for Deloitte. I was consulting for the British government, and the most important project was how to deal with COVID. And so everyone else was at home, but I had a special letter to go and go to the hospitals and set things up. So मुझे COVID हुआ था in around March, April. So I was like in a studio, and I was just really, really ill. And they didn't know that it was like a lot of people got COVID after and they were fine. Magar mera tha ke we didn't know ke this could kill you or not. So I was getting calls from family all over. So mera tha ke yaar, if I die right now, I would have done not much in life. I would have done a startup and not much. The mera tha ke that was a trigger that, okay, I failed first time when I did Webpreneur Academy. I ran out of money. I had to go back to London to reestablish my career. And I wanted to come back. So wo phir I started applying or looking for opportunities. I grew a side business. I built a team in Peshawar, of all places. And I built it. But then I got an opportunity. I started applying, and then this Pakistan Software Export Board, someone passed it on to me. I applied for it, and basically I applied for CEO and CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, and there was a Chief Industry Development Officer, all the three roles. And I got selected for CMO. I said, they said, how much you want? I said, whatever you guys can pay me, I'll come. My parents, they were based in Islamabad. So they're, mashallah, still healthy or idhar reh rahe. So maine kaha ke main aa jaunga. I took that opportunity. Someone said, if you don't like it, you can always leave in 2 weeks, right? So maine 2 hafte guzare, but I was like, I loved it, right? Because government mein, sarkar mein, you can have an impact at a much bigger level. If you look somewhere online, you'll find, if you do Amir Anzur, rebrand Pakistan, maybe I'd made a presentation on branding Pakistan. And so this opportunity back in 2010 or something like that. And this opportunity aligned with it, right? So so for me, it's a passion. Branding is a passion, and basically we all make a living by selling something, right? Ya to aap koi kitab bech rahe ho, ya pen bech rahe ho, ya kuch shoes bech rahe ho, but someone is selling something. You're selling content, right? Ads come in, to aap bhi kuch bech rahe ho. So mera ye hai ke I want to sell people, right? And the people I feel that we Pakistanis are undervalued in the world, right? Why is it known as an average Pakistani makes $1,500 a year? An average person in the world makes $12,000 a year. An average American makes $70,000 a year. There's a difference in wealth, right? And especially in the digital world, it should be much more equal. So ye tha ke my mission in life is, how do we get from $1,500 a year to $12,000 a year? Maybe we won't get to 70,000 or like 93,000 like Switzerland is. Magar we should be at least doubling this, or quadrupling or 10xing what we're doing. And I think if we use digital well, just aap jaise log, you're disseminating knowledge and you're getting people access to teachers like me. Before, maybe like I've taught at schools like NUST and it's like Stanford and London School of Economics and University of Dubai, like guest lectured. And you only have, let's say, 25 people in the classroom. Agar main podcast mein aata hu na, aapke podcast can reach hundreds of thousands of people, right? It's the same messaging. And the old economy, it's the teacher is in the classroom, 25, 40, 50 people, and they get the message. Abhi jo hai, I can record it once. I can have a one-to-one conversation.
And it's there for lifetime even.
And it's teaching people 10 years from now as well, right?
थोड़ा सा मुझे पेसअप के बारे में बताएं. लाइक ज़ाहिर हर किसी को पता तो है मेरे ख्याल से, ये जिनको नहीं पता कि इट्स अ गवर्नमेंट sort of idara, which is sort of a semi-government, but in a way it's a government. And the aim is कि जो export है उसको support किया जाए, digital exports को. What are you guys trying to achieve on a broader level?
So Pakistan Software Export Board reports to the Ministry of IT and Telecoms, right? It's an independent body of the MOITT. So PSEB is our main one phrase, KPI, key performance indicator, is what are the exports of the IT industry of Pakistan. हम लोग ये किस तरह measure करते हैं? ये जो पैसे आते हैं state bank के through, like through legal channels, we measure that, and that is about $3.8 billion, right? Our target is to get it to $15 billion by 2030, right? तो वो है कि
और इसमें कौन कौन सी सर्विसेज आती हैं इसमें, लाइक फ्रीलांसिंग,
कॉल सेंटर्स, कॉर्पोरेट कंपनीज, ये जो बेसिक आईटी सर्विसेज, बीपीओ, बिजनेस प्रोसेस आउटसोर्सिंग, इस तरह के 3-4 कोड्स होते हैं. व्हेन यू शिपिंग मनी फ्रॉम अब्रॉड, वो आप सेलेक्ट करते हैं,
ठीक है,
तो वो उसमें हम लोग काउंट करते हैं. तो व्हाट आवर गोल इज कि इसको किस तरह बढ़ाएं, राइट? तो इसमें हम लोग काउंट करते हैं. इसमें हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि we have the supply side and then we have the demand side, right? Supply side is लोगों को किस तरह mental हम लोग उनको skills दें कि they are able to sell themselves as much better, right? तो हम लोग इसमें trainings भी करते हैं on AI and cloud and DevOps, etc. Skills that lead to higher paying jobs. We give apprenticeships. तो 6 महीने के लिए हम लोग 30,000 per month stipend देते हैं. So if you got a company that has 100 employees, you can take up to 10 free interns that the government will pay. Okay. And you will वो आपके लिए training होंगी 6 months. They will work under you. We have a target that 70% of them will be employed by you, because आपकी company अगर लेती हैं तो we say that you intend to keep them afterwards, क्योंकि आपका भी time invest होता है, हमारा भी पैसा invest होता है, तो हम लोग चाहते हैं कि आपके लिए ये आके बाद में long term काम करें. तो इस तरह की चीज़ें programs हम लोग run करते हैं supply side. On the demand side, हम लोगों companies को लेके जाते हैं बाहर to do company matchmaking. So we take them to GITEX in Dubai, for instance, or TechCrunch in San Francisco. उनकी हम लोग subsidy देते हैं 30% from PSEB, 30% from Trade Development Authority Pakistan, TDAP, और फिर 40% वो company pay करती हैं. So some of these companies would never afford to go abroad if it wasn't for us. Then we sort of facilitate them getting the visa, और ये वो तो वो फिर supply side भी, demand side भी आता है. फिर then we do marketing around it, building up the brand of Pakistan. ये भी करते हैं so that there's more opportunities for companies to come into our tech sector.
अभी तक आपने जितने स्टार्टअप्स के साथ काम किया या बिजनेसेस के साथ काम किया जिनको आप लोग बाहर लेके भी जाते हैं फॉर प्रोजेक्शन या कॉन्फ्रेंसेस, सेमिनार, सारा कुछ, एंड देन व्हेन यू लुक एट द एंटरप्रेन्योरियल लैंडस्केप इन पाकिस्तान, अभी पिछले कुछ अरसे में हमने देखा बिकॉज ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल रीजंस, इकोनॉमी, सारा कुछ, चीज़ें उस तरह नहीं शायद चल रही जिस तरह चलनी चाहिए, या स्टार्टअप्स उस तरह की बड़ी कंपनीज निकल रही, जो बड़ी कंपनीज निकल भी रही हैं वो या तो बाहर की बेस्ड हैं, दे आर जस्ट कमिंग हियर लाइक करीम बेस्ड इन दुबई एंड लाइक मूव टू पाकिस्तान एंड देन वो सारा भी वो भी सारे यहाँ से चले गए हैं. लाइक व्हाट इज़ द लैंडस्केप looks like right now? Like what are the challenges, what are some of the opportunities अभी भी आपको जो लगता है कि हैं, और startups का भी like where do they stand? Is it like more of कि we don't have good ideas, like are we not thinking on a right direction, या we don't have skills? बेशक उसमें सेल्स स्किल्स हों, पोजिशनिंग की स्किल हो, मार्केटिंग की स्किल्स हों, थोड़ा सा अगर इसको आप बता सकें.
जो हमारा गवर्नमेंट का अदारा है ना, दैट डील्स विद स्टार्टअप स्पेसिफिकली, इट्स कॉल्ड इग्नाइट, राइट? सो इग्नाइट is startups and PSAB is more established companies, but I can give you my personal views. तो ये है कि startups, it's difficult to make startups work, right? Even in Silicon Valley, right? So most will fail, yes. But on top of that, it's hard to get capital. यहाँ पर आप बैंक के पास जाओगे तो it's very difficult to get capital. It's hard. Local जो market है, it doesn't have as much spending power, right? तो आप एक Uber लेते हो इधर, तो आपको $2 के मतलब है वो इन ड्राइव पड़ रही है. आप वही राइड लोगे सैन फ्रांसिस्को में, इट विल कॉस्ट यू $30. तो वो आपका मतलब है, सो द मार्जिन्स आर वेरी लो. तो इस तरह भी है कि सो देन जब मैं सोचता हूँ the problem that an American is solving, they're solving for much more advanced, let's say they're solving for a lawyer, yeah, like rich people problems. A lawyer is earning $500,000. You solve a problem for them, they'll pay you $5,000 easily. Magar agar lawyer Pakistani hai and you solve that same issue for them, it's not as much, right? तो ये भी होता है. एंड देन द अदर थिंग इज, बहुत सारे स्टार्टअप्स हमारे, दे आर लेड बाय पाकिस्तानीज, दे आर पाकिस्तानी, लाइक देयर बैक ऑफिस इन पाकिस्तान, मगर वो कंपनी शो करेंगे कि अमेरिकन है या दुबई बेस्ड है, राइट? तो ये भी होता है. बहुत सारे जो हमारे देयर इज good talent, great talent here. Just Cloudways is one of them. They sold for $350 million. Then they started disrupt.com, as an example, but they moved to Dubai to become more globalized. So, like my vision, my own personal thing is that we will get, if we do a digital nomad visa, like we can get Goras to come here, settle, and they will find and work with good talent here and set up their startups from here.
Like a Bali sort of a model in a way.
क्योंकि बाली में भी जब मैं दुबई में काम कर रहा था ना, one of the challenges was there's not local talent. There's not enough local talent. Every place has its strengths and weaknesses, right? Some places in the Middle East, you can't make phone calls on WhatsApp, right? That's a very basic right in Pakistan. Pakistan में कितने लोगों की livelihoods depend on WhatsApp calls, right? तो ये जो है कि हम लोग, like if we open up and have digital nomad visas, they can come for 5 years, set up their startups. अब they will be surprised by what they see here, right? क्योंकि यहाँ पर अब आपका भी स्टूडियो देखें, I could be sitting in London, New York, San Francisco. Yours, if not better, is same quality, right? लोग इस पे सरप्राइज होते हैं. मेरा एक स्विस कॉन्टैक्ट आया था, he's investing in Pakistan. तो वो for the first time visit किया था, तो वो कहता है यार मैं समझा था you guys would be like Afghanistan light, तो हमारा भी vision of Afghanistan is कि कोई donkey में फिर रहा है, और ये like in our brainwash media, but because I haven't been to Afghanistan, maybe it is like Islamabad. तो वो जब आते हैं Islamabad especially, they see the infrastructure, और वो लोगों से बात करते हैं, they see how they can communicate well, और उनके English भी, we're the third largest English speaking country, and it's a young population, our average age in Pakistan is 21 years old. Average Indian is 30. Average American is 38. Average Japanese is 48, right? तो हमारे जो young population है, उनको मेरे जो thought is, get them here, the entrepreneur, get them connected to a few universities, and let them start their AI venture or whatever it is. And that will be good for our talent, and it'll be great for them. And once they start, like I've done many outsourcing deals over my career and introduced hundreds of jobs here. And sometimes it was just introducing one person to another. और वो फिर उन एक बंदे से शुरू होते हैं, then they grow their team to 20, 25, 30 people or even more. तो वो भी हो सकता है. तो the challenge I would say is, think global. If you want your startup to make money, think of rich people problems. You know why I ran out of money for Webpreneur was because I was thinking, and then I was trying to, मैं किसी नौकर, मेरे चाचा के नौकर के घर गया, तो मैंने उससे बोला कि यार आप इधर रहोगे तो आप इधर stuck होगे. At that time he was making like, I don't know, 10,000-15,000 rupees a month. This is a few years ago. तो मैंने कहा आपकी विजन क्या है? What do you want to be? कि अगर आप कुछ भी बन सकते हो. And I was thinking कि मैं उसको Facebook marketing सिखाऊंगा और इस तरह की चीज़ें, and then he'll make wealth. वो कहता था कि वो जो नौकर था वो कहता है I want to be a driver. मुझे ड्राइवर बनना है. तो मैंने कहा okay, so the vision has to be faster and further, right? तो ये जो, like why I enjoy podcasts like yours is because you're giving people exposure to a lot more people के ये भी पाकिस्तानी बंदा है, जिस तरह आपने अभी UK की सीरीज़ की है और ये इस तरह की चीज़ें कमा रहे हैं और ये बिजनेसेस चल रहे हैं. तो वो जब इस तरह की, like when they can see people like them become successful, तो वो फिर they're more likely to do that work, right? अभी भी Rehan कुछ, like someone sold their business for 1.8 billion. And these numbers, they don't even make sense to a lot of people. कि इतना 1.8 billion क्या number है, और जो banda tha, the guy who's valued cursor.ai at 10 billion. So is tarah ki cheezein, they only happen, it's in America, but you can make $1 million business. Bahut sare log main janta hu, they're making multi-million-dollar businesses. They don't necessarily show it in terms of our thing, kyunki wo they make it an American brand ya kuch, but they're earning multi-million-dollar businesses. So it is happening. Magar they don't flaunt about it being Pakistani as much as American businesses flaunt about being American.
अभी जो let's say नए बच्चे आ रहे हैं and people who wanted to start business and entrepreneurship side पे आना चाहते हैं, अब तो because of the AI, because of the new technology, चीज़ें बहुत आसान हो गई हैं. Even like compared to 5-10 years भी, तो you need to think too much. I remember when I was coming back to Pakistan, I never ever thought that I'll be starting something like this. कि Facebook पे आप videos बनाएंगे और वो बड़ी होते हैं now, you know, हम लोग अभी कहाँ हैं. But what would be your advice to those people who are thinking to start doing of their own? Like, one is obviously the realities are like internet slow hai, Pakistan mein hum kaam kar rahe hain, but like what's the right thinking model?
Again, if you can take the risk, and it's not that much of a risk, because England mein, if your company fails, आपके government आपको वो एक house दे देगी और rent pay कर लेगी, and they give you a bit of pocket money so you don't starve. यहाँ पर if it doesn't work out, you go to your parents or your family, your extended family, कोई ना कोई आपकी मदद कर लेता है. It's a communal society, right? तो you should definitely research क्या AI है, or you know, start doing some side hustle. If you can't afford it, get a job, and especially get a job in AI, right? So आपके daytime training भी उसी industry में हो रही है जिसमें आपका passion है, और आप उसमें then start looking, क्योंकि then you're getting paid to learn, right? abhi bhi, like my passion is building brand Pakistan, but I get paid to do it as well. Yes. So if you can ideally go into an industry जो आप करना चाहते हैं जिस चीज़ में, तो आप उस चीज़ में जाएं. Now, if your passion is around making shoes, go into a shoe making company and work in it, right? And then on the side, you've got to work the weekends and the evenings on AI kya cheez hai. Go to Islamabad maybe we're lucky, or Karachi, Lahore, these 3 type of places. There's seminars happening, और उधर जाके आप सीखो कि क्या AI क्या चीज़ क्या है, क्यों लोग बात कर रहे हैं, राइट? अब मैं जिस तरह हूँ, माई बिजनेस केस जो मैं पर्सनली यूज़ कर रहा हूँ, मैं भी AI का सुनता रहता हूँ. मेरे सारे न्यूज़ फीड इज़ विद जेंसन वांग और इस तरह के लोग, क्योंकि वो AI की बातें कर रहे हैं. मैं भी सोचता रहता हूँ क्या. तो मेरा ये है कि आई यूज़, like now I'm getting over 1 million views on my organic social media content. और मैं क्या करता हूँ, I write content, और मैं उसको फिर when it comes to polishing it, मैं ChatGPT पे जानता हूँ, और मैं ChatGPT में करता हूँ कि make this into a good LinkedIn post, and it takes the same content. Maybe it'll change like 10, 20, 30% of it, but it takes my thought and it writes it better. And I thought I was a good writer. I've written many books, but the way it writes, मैं हैरान हो जाता हूँ कि यार ये भी किसने कैसे restructure कर लिया. It gave it a hook. It makes it much more readable. और फिर then I say इसको एक picture बना दो, right? And because the content you put on Facebook and LinkedIn, उसकी अगर आप picture बनाते हैं तो it gives you more, the algorithm. I know you have a sign here that says good content beats algorithm, but the algorithm likes a picture with it. तो मुझे पहले ज़माने में एक तो मुझे content editor चाहिए होगा कि they can check if my spelling is right and all these things. And then secondly, I would need a graphic designer to say, come up with an image for this. Or तो मेरे भी time save होता है, because मैं जब press release लिखता हूँ for Pakistan Software Export Board, मैं उधर जाके लिखता हूँ. I give it a few content subheadings, और वो the way it comes up with a press release, it's like amazing. So वो this is just for me in my day job. Now on an evening job, if you're doing a startup, आपकी English भी इतनी अच्छी नहीं होगी, मगर आप उसको लिख सकते हैं कि give me the content for my website, including FAQs, frequently asked questions, etc. on this subject, right? तो वो जो है ना, पुराने ज़माने में जो मेरे, like there's so much frustration inside myself because I have so many ideas that I could build this business and that business.
But you cannot like put it
on the word. But now all I need to do is bullet points. और वो bullet points को इतना अच्छा बना देती है that you'll be amazed. So isi tarah, like that's the beginning of AI journey, and that's me as a content writer, content creator. Now people are programming using the same thing. I don't think it will replace everything. Magar aapko wo main cheez jo hai na, it enhances you 20-30%, and it gives you much more leverage and much better content. And whatever it is, and legal. One of my friends was going through a divorce in Phoenix in US. तो वो कहता है मैंने lawyer was charging $500 an hour. He's like, look, I took lawyer bit by bit, but I've saved myself like $60,000-$70,000 by using ChatGPT myself and training it and all that kind of stuff. So इस तरह भी बहुत cases होते हैं, and we are now able to compete with Americans, right? That $70,000, we can compete with them. क्योंकि वो जो है ना, लोग उधर भी अभी सीख रहे हैं, और अभी इधर भी पाकिस्तान के लिए भी नया है और Americans के लिए भी नया है. तो आप, if nothing else, you look into AI, you become an AI coach. You look into AI, you become an AI automation expert. And you pehle customers, you give it to them for free. You go to dentists. You know how much dentists make? in the US. Like someone I know is going through dental school. So he passed this dental in Pakistan, and then he sets up in the US. First year, it's $240,000 to $350,000,
Wow.
right? So these guys have money to invest in, like if you can get them customers, right? So is tarah ki cheezein, there's many opportunities now to do this. Log complain karte hain, like you said, oh, the internet is slow, etc. But actually it works, right? Now, I don't think most of us can complain about the internet. The pipes, if you like, are done by American companies, right? The YouTube is an American company. It won't go down. वो आपको free में space दे रहा है to make your content and go on it, right? आप जैसे लोग, you're making great content and you're getting crowd from, not only Pakistan, आपका
worldwide, yeah.
India से भी आ रहा होगा, Pakistani Americans, Pakistani Brits, all these things. तो ये है कि we have that opportunity that wasn't there many years ago. So that's what I mean is get your content or go into any field and think about how it can be digitalized, or think about an American earning $70,000. And I would recommend focus on like even, America as a market. Because it's the
big market, yeah.
Biggest market, 330 million people. And if you can get a niche, even within America, you say, I'll target people in San Francisco that are dentists, right? And then you target or make a product for them. You'll make a lot more money. So how you sell or learn sales and marketing and branding and all these skills, and you can copy things so much easier than it ever been, right?
Lastly, मुझे बताएं कि if you get a chance to, let's say, lead PSCB या कोई भी और organization, how do you want to position Pakistan globally? Like, what are some of the things which are still needed कि पाकिस्तान की हम branding, PR, positioning worldwide और कैसे बेहतर करें?
I think a lot of it would be around thought leadership. So if I can do that role, which I'm already in this role as Chief Marketing Officer, is to promote our people as thought leaders, right? Whether it be the best in AI, best in DevOps, etc. So is tarah bhi, like, just promote people like this. Because jab hum log promote, logon se lete hain, right? So when we start promoting people that not necessarily say Pakistan in your face branding, but show the intellectual side of the country, like authors and intellectuals, etc. That especially jo English speaking content hai. Because English speaking, if Pakistan, Islamabad becomes a hub of an AI talk show person, and it just happens to be happening here, तो वो ये होगा कि it'll draw a lot more attention here, right? तो ये जो I want to help promote people like yourself, जो podcast कर रहे हैं, they're content creators from here. तो क्योंकि और लोगों को foreigners को ज़्यादा invite करें to create their content from here. जिस तरह दुबई में अभी हुआ है, they invite, I think they gave golden visa to a few thousand people. What are they doing? They're getting the people and the leaders, the thought leaders into them. Because everyone, like, a lot less than 1% people can create content. Most people are just consuming content, right? So you won't even know. So content creators are one of the keys. I would just make like a keyword called friction, right? Remove as much friction as possible, ताकि everything is smooth and easy to set up and make happen. I would give someone a job title of Chief Simplification Officer. How simple is something to do? Because abhi jo hai na, like, some things are a little too complicated. If you go to some websites, they're too complicated. And I would even learn from British government ke liye kaam karta tha. There was an organization called Government Digital Service. Unke, from death certificate to birth certificate to driving license, you have everything is the same look and feel. The the gov.uk site. I would bring up gov.pk. We can even take their code. It's free and open source, and use that to have a much better global internet experience. तो ये भी इस तरह की चीजें भी अभी आ रहे हैं, इस तरह की projects आ रहे हैं. There's a project called Deep, etc. But I think we can just do it faster and bring it. But there's a lot of good people working on a lot of great projects that I think just need more publicity, more spreading the message, and getting it out to the audience.
Amir, thank you so much for taking the time out. It's lovely talking to you.
Thank you for having me.